achievement, and you don't have to be in a position where you're achieving and you're always burnt out inside and running on empty fuel. And that's part of what this journey is. And this is, I should tell you also, the beginning of a new journey. How many of you can remember a time in your life when you've been going a certain direction for a long time, and then there was a day or a moment where you've been talking about changing, talking about things, and one day you just did it. Something inside of you snapped, you said that's it, and you changed everything. You changed your body, or your career, or your relationship. How many have had a moment like that? Say aye. You're about to have many moments like that. That's what this weekend's about. Are you for that? Yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? All right. So, if we're going to make that happen, if we're not just going to have a discussion here, and we're really going to lead our own lives. By the way, to lead other people, who you got to lead first? Yourself, which means you got to know who you are. And again, one of the challenges with that is conditioning, I should say. Because most of us have been conditioned to be a certain way. I remember early on when I first met my wife, Sage, we had this great conversation because I said, you know what? I said, what I love about you is you're so real. I said, you know, so much of people's lives, and I said, I've been guilty of it too, is like, they're trying to be something. I said, I just want to get to who you are. Let's get to that place. Because most people, when they go on a date and they go up to maitre d' and they say two, they should say two liars, right? Because the guy dresses like he's never going to dress again. And the woman says things she'll never say again, and he does too. He goes, oh, I love shopping and children and dogs. But what happens is we say what we think will get us there, and then afterwards we may get what we want and we're not fulfilled. So I said, the real secret is let's be ourselves. She goes, I couldn't agree more. She goes, I can't stand being around a man who's not honest. So I said, well, you'll get honesty from me. It may not always be elegant, but I promise you I'll be straight with you. And I said, I love the same. She said, I know what you're talking about. She goes, even me, she said, growing up, she said, I'm a vegetarian now, but growing up, we ate meat and everything else. We used to have hamburgers. And she said, I remember I used to always order the same hamburger. I used to get this hamburger, and I had lettuce and tomato, but no mustard, no ketchup, no pickles, no relish, nothing else. And she said, I did that until I was about 13 years old. And one time I was 13, I thought, whose hamburger is this? She said, I don't think I've ever had, a hamburger with mustard and ketchup and relish and everything on its special sauce. And she said, I realized it's my mother's hamburger. Because I love my mom so much that I tried to be like her so that she'd feel connected to me. And she said, I realized I don't need to have their hamburger for her to love me. This is crazy. I need to find out what I want. Most of us don't know what we want because we never tried it. So I said, what'd you do? She said, I ordered a hamburger with lettuce, tomatoes, special sauce, pickles, mustard, onions, everything. And she said, I took a big bite. And I said, what happened? She said, I threw up. She said, but at least I took the bite. And that's what I'm going to invite you to do, if you're willing to here. Take a bite this weekend. I'd like you to try some things you haven't tried because this is a safe environment because no one's going to go home and tell people the crap you did here. Right? You can experiment because if you want to know what's really you, where you're going to be alive is when it's really you. And you may even think you know who you are because you've been living a certain way, but I'll tell you how you'll know. You'll feel euphoric, you'll feel strong, you'll feel unlimited, you'll feel free. And the way to find that is look for spontaneity. When you're being spontaneous, the conditioning's gone and the real you guy shows up. And we've all seen, there we go, sir, I like that. Give that man a hand, I like that. Good, I'm all for that. Because we've all been so conditioned to think that the secret to life is our intellect. And trust me, I honor my intellect, your intellect. Our minds are extraordinary places to be. But the fuel of life is emotion. And we try to cover it up because emotion isn't always pretty and elegant, doesn't fit into the cultural conditioning. But that's how things get moved. How does the world change? The world changes when somebody has a different emotional response than anybody else before them. When everybody says, you got to do this, and they say, no. No, I will not go back. I will go forward. No, I will not settle for this. No, I'm not going to stop myself. No, I'm not going to say something because it's convenient. I'm going to tell the truth. When somebody does that, a leader is formed. And that leadership capacity comes from human emotion. And if there's a place that we could transform our lives, whether we know it or not, if you want to transform it, master your emotions. If you become the master of emotions, you are different than 99% of the rest of the planet who is enslaved by their emotions, using their intellect to cover the fact that inside they don't feel they want to feel. With 3 million people, I've had the chance to work with presidents of countries and prisoners. Parents, children. I've worked in the South Bronx with people addicted to cocaine, and I dealt with people like the top CEOs in Hollywood, addicted to cocaine. I've dealt with people with multiple personalities, and I've dealt with people with no personality, have a much bigger problem, right? I have seen, and of 3 million people around this earth in 80 countries, I've seen just about anything you can see, and there are only so many patterns. And what you're going to find underneath all of this behavior is we have the same needs. There are 6 human needs we're going to review tonight. When you understand what those needs are and which ones you're focusing on, you start to understand why people do the crazy things they do, including you and I. And you begin to understand, hey, there might be a better way to meet my needs, and I don't have to get caught up in this game of stress and frustration and upset, or I could really help this person I care about, because I could see what's really going on. Part of what we want to accomplish here as leaders is we want to become practical psychologists. We want to understand what's really going on so we can help, so we can make a difference, so we can transform. So yes, of course you can do better in your business, because the more you understand about what people need and want, the greater you're going to be, the better manager, the better leader, the better mom or dad, the better friend. And there's a better you that's available when you understand what's driving you. But most of us are running patterns over and over again, and we want to free that up. To free it up, we got to break the pattern. We got to do things that are different. Think about it. When do people usually learn the most in their life? At what stage of life do most human beings just absorb knowledge and really use it? What stage? Come on. When they're kids, right? Why? Because when you're a kid, you're not so worried about how it looks and whether it's appropriate, whether it fits in. You just do stuff. If it doesn't work and you fall down, you get up. Unless some cotton-picking adult comes by and soothes you and says, oh, don't ever do that again, and teaches you that, you're fragile. Most of our culture is emotionally unfit. We haven't faced a real war where the majority of us had to go fight. We haven't had to worry about real challenges. Our big challenges are things like, hey, will my download come through on my free music? That's now 99 cents. Think about it. We're living in a world where most of us have not had to push against a whole lot. Now, don't get me wrong. I know this room is filled with, including myself, people that have had unbelievably tough times you push through. But as a culture, we got a lot of privileges. It's pretty amazing that we could even be in the rooms we're all in right now, watching by satellite, experiencing here live in this program, when we're here to make our lives better, when 99.99% of us in this room have a life 99.9% better than most of the earth. Most of the planet's got about $2 a day to try to figure out how to live on. Most of the planet is not literate. Most of the planet does not have access to the internet, where instantaneously with a keystroke or a click, you can access the answer to almost any question you could imagine. Or you can connect with anyone and share any ideas, feeling, or emotion. Most of the planet doesn't have that privilege, and we're here. We got a lot of audacity. Now, I'm not saying we don't have challenges or problems, because we all do. It's all relative. But man, we're really lucky. So with great privileges comes great responsibility. And my hope is that at the end of this program, not only will you experience more of who you really are and experience this transformation, and I know you'll do it. If you play full out, you'll do it. But also, my hope is that you will be inspired then to take what you've learned and share it en masse and feel the joy of that contribution as well. To do it though, and have it last, and have it not just be talk, we got to do something different here. So we're going to do something different. I'm not here because I believe in positive thinking. If you think